All right, ladies and gentlemen, CTLS is currently down, so as all living things have to do, we need to adapt and evolve. So today, your assignments will be this YouTube video and the Google Doc listed below in this email. Now, I am going to simply walk you through the Nearpod that we would have done today. And if this video is not enough enforcement or we are still confused on the concept, please go, when CTLS comes back, please go into the student sessions, live number 4, and this Nearpod is there as student pace so you can go through it and practice it on your own. So your bell ringer today is draw what you think the cell in your body looks like. Use as much detail as possible. So obviously we aren't going to be able to do that today, so we are going to move along. Now, this video is fantastic, so again, I would like you to go through and answer these questions, but as I am recording my screen, I can't record the audio. So we are going to move on, and I'm simply just going to teach it to you. So the very first important information we need to know is that there are two categories of, and I'm actually going to go ahead and take notes with you. There are two categories of cells. We have prokaryotes and eukaryotes. Oh, you know what? We're just going to make a chart because that's really our best situation right now. So I am watch my word, and you can see how we do this. So we're going to do prokaryote and a eukaryote, and we are going to take notes as we go along. Well, our very first situation that we know is prokaryote are organisms that have DNA but no nucleus. So our information for prokaryote is yes to DNA, because remember DNA from our last thing is genetic material, and all living things need genetic material to live. We need a code that tells us how to reproduce and grow and develop. So it has DNA, but it is not inside of a nucleus. So basically all this means is that it is free floating, as you can see here in this nuclear region. It has all of this wound up chromosomes and DNA, but it is not in a nice little capsule. So we have no nucleus. Now, our next thing is unicellular. Well, we remember from our last unit, root word uni. Uni means one, right? Remember unicycle, unibrow, one. So it is a unicellular. And what this means is that there is one cell. It is a single-celled organism. And of course, Miss Humphreys can't spell. It is a single-celled organism. Now, we also know they're very simple and very, very old. So the thing about prokaryotes is pro actually means before. Before, and again, Miss Humphreys can't spell. Before, and carry actually means capsule or nucleus. So the word prokaryote literally means before nucleus. So what that means is these are old, so old, kind of like OG life forms. These are the very beginning of our life. And we actually, eukaryotes and multicelled organisms, evolved from prokaryotes. They are the oldest known life form on Earth. They are OG life. There are two kinds, bacteria and archaea. So we're going to add that onto our thing, bacteria and archaea. And we know that they can reproduce quickly. So what this means is when you have bacteria that's reproducing quickly, it's basically spreading all over your body inside that living host. And this is why you can get sick so quickly and so bad, is because this bacteria can reproduce quickly. So it can very easily take over your body. Now, we know bacteria. The next question you're going to have is, the next question I assume you have is viruses. Now, viruses are a different category than bacteria and eukaryotes. Remember, science is never permanent, so there is an argument to what the characteristics of life are. For example, viruses can reproduce and spread, but they do not grow and develop. There is no evolution in viruses. So what I've shown you here is actually a coronavirus. Coronavirus is a category of viruses. You will notice that they have these crown-shaped toppings, and the Latin word for crown is coron. So it is a coronavirus. Now, COVID-19 is a specific form. It has changed and mutated to a different form. Now, we can change and mutate, but you don't see a lot of evolution with these. They don't adapt, they don't become new to the environment. They simply just start another one. So viruses are argued to be either living or non-living things. But the ones we worry about are prokaryotes, and that is bacteria. Archaea is an intense form of small life forms that actually live in volcanoes, extreme environments, and those are not as common. So prokaryotes, bacteria, and viruses. Next, eukaryotes. These are living things. Of course, plants and animals. So you are a eukaryote. Now, the difference between prokaryotes and eukaryotes is the presence of a nucleus. So yes, they also have DNA because we need that genetic material, but it is kept inside a nucleus. It is kept inside of a nucleus. So it has this nice little center to it that we'll look at in just a moment. This nice little center right here, that is our nucleus where our genetic material is contained, or DNA. We go back. So eukaryotes, let's compare, have a cell. They are multicellular. And we know that the root word multi means, and again, you guys, Miss Humphries can't spell. We know root word multi means many. So this is an organism made up of many cells. Multicellular. We also know that U equals true. So this actually, eukaryote, the root word U means true. And we know that kary means nucleus. So this word literally means true nucleus. So it does have the presence of a nucleus. True equals U. You are a eukaryote because our examples of eukaryote are plants and animals. Plants and animals. Plants and animals. And we also know that they have organelles. They're very nicely, so organelles kind of sounds like organs. And you have specific organs in your body that do specific things. Digest food, create energy, remove waste. So do cells. They're just very, very, very tiny organs that we call organelles. And these organelles are membrane bound, which means they are kept, again, in a capsule similar to our nucleus, but they're kind of just all in the cell. So we are going to go ahead and add that they evolved from prokaryotes, and I will, you'll see me constantly abbreviate this to prokaryotes, pro, eukaryotes, euc. And we just discussed that they have membrane-bound organelles. Membrane-bound organelles. That's the bell indicating the beginning of second period, but obviously we can't do that. So these are eukaryotes and prokaryotes. These are our main conditions that separate them to make them different. So let's look at some examples. This is an animal cell. These are what the cells in your body look like. Now, we know we talked about a nucleus, which is our centerpiece here. And you'll notice these other forms, the blue squiggles, the purple squiggles, the brown squiggles, the green dots, the gray dots, the purple dots. These are organelles. They all do specific functions. They maintain water, they clean up our waste, they create energy, and they move our proteins around. Just like the organs in our body, they all have specific functions, and we will learn those going forward. You will notice this is an animal cell. A plant cell has very similar features. Again, you'll notice we have the circular nucleus at the center, and I can't touch without moving it. You will notice that we also have those blue squiggly things, light blue, purple, and you'll notice a new squiggly thing, the lime green squiggly things. Now those are specific to plants. They are called chloroplast. You do not need to know that right now, but I just wanted you to notice the similarities and differences between the plant and the animal. You will also notice that the purple dot right here is much bigger in the plant than it is in the animal, and that is to store water. And again, next week you will learn all of the specific functions of these organelles. Just wanted you to be able to compare and contrast the images to see what's similar and different. So that is an example of a plant and an animal cell. Now, this image right here, let me pull it up for you. Let me see if it'll work. Here we go. Oh, no. I wonder if I can collapse this. Perfect. Okay. Right here. So this is our Venn diagram that's actually going to be really helpful. So you can go ahead and pause the video. But we already have these notes here. It's the oldest cell, it's small and simple, no nucleus, and no organelles. Evolved from prokaryotes, larger and more complex, contain nutrients and organelles. Now, what they both have is DNA, which we commented here, they both have yes to DNA. They both have a cell membrane, a plasma membrane. So we have a membrane, plasma, membrane. And the point of me informing you of this is that all cells have membranes, all cells. So we're going to make a note of that down here. All cells have a membrane. Now, the difference is that the organelles in eukaryotes are membrane bound, whereas these are free floating. And they both have cytoplasm, which is the jello inside that makes the cell large and doesn't basically just sitting in there. It's got a jello to hold it. So that is a beneficial Venn diagram. But again, we have all of our notes here, and I will actually attach this in the email that I'm about to send. And if you would like to, when CTLS comes back up, there's this fun little game called Time to Climb, and it's 5 questions that will review this concept for you. But again, they're all listed here. You do have a homework assignment that asks you to complete a Venn diagram. And I will include the tutorial link for that in this video, in this email as well. I know this is a quick lesson, but I hope that CTLS is up soon and you can engage with this Nearpod and that these notes are helpful. Again, sorry about the tech, guys.